Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for today's video. So happy summer solstice. I live in Devon in the UK in England, and today actually is also Father's Day, so I have my in-laws coming over in a few minutes and we are going to be having a roast to celebrate the day with the family. But I thought I would come out first and just do some harvesting of some elderflower because they've come out in the last couple of weeks. I've been waiting for them very patiently. Last year I made some lovely elderflower cordial, which was beautiful, and this year I want to make some elderflower champagne. I just think it would be just gorgeous. So I'm going to try and vlog the whole process and talk you through it so that you can do the same. And obviously it's actually the solstice today, so this is going to be a little bit late, but hopefully you can forgive me for that. But it's going to be something that you can continue to do each year. So we have a lot of these hedgerows near us in the field near our house, and we do have these elder sort of interspersed. One like this I wouldn't bother with because all the petals are just falling off here. It may be because we had heavy rainfall. This one seems like it's okay, so I'm gonna get this one. So I should just say that elderflower is part of the elder tree, the same tree that you get elderberries from. And you can distinguish the elderflowers from any similar flowers because they come out at this sort of time of year, June, July time of year. So it's currently sort of mid-June that they've come out in the past couple of weeks. And they smell like elderflower cordial, so you can't really mistake them. There's no mistaking the scent. And you've got over here, I believe that is one that has not yet blossomed. So with elderflower you can make elderflower cordial, which is really popular. You can make elderflower pressé or elderflower champagne, which is what I'm going to be making today, which essentially obviously isn't champagne because we're not in France in that region, but it is a sparkling wine. I've never made the champagne before myself. I've always made the cordial, but this year I fancy doing something different. And they are just gorgeous. Obviously you can buy elderflower cordial and elderflower pressé in the shops, but this is just something so special. So, in terms of foraging, to make sure you're doing it safely, you must make sure that you're foraging from a place where the plants haven't been sprayed with pesticides, also where you know that you're allowed to forage. In some parts of the country, in different countries you're not allowed to, so do check that you're actually allowed to before you start foraging. And to be safe, it's really a good idea to be sure that you have the exact right plant, because as you can see, we have nettles, we have some sticky weed, we have all kinds of different, we've got brambles, we've got all kinds of different plants intermingled here. And so it's just really prudent to actually do some research before you decide to embark on this, because whilst it's fun, it's really important to be safe. I actually have a plant identifier app that I will link below, and it's really handy, and I use that alongside field guides as well as sort of herbal medicinal books, and then some more witchy kind of green witch books that talk about the magical properties in order to understand more about what I'm foraging. But if you are in doubt, just don't do it, essentially. So I've harvested a few little bushels here, and there are still lots left all the way down to the bottom for the bees and the insects and the butterflies to enjoy. So I will also just say with the foraging, be careful of things like dog paths and areas where dogs can have weed or food. That's not ideal, and just don't take too much. So I've only taken a small amount, just a few little bushels, and there's loads more on this hedgerow all the way down to the bottom. So there's a lot still left for the wildlife, and that's really important. Only take what you need. I am just making one little batch of elderflower champagne, and so I don't need a huge amount, and it's just something to celebrate the solstice with. So I hope you're having a lovely solstice wherever you are. It's just beautiful out here. This is where we're moving away from, believe it or not. So these are like shared grounds, and it's a field essentially, and then there are further fields beyond, but this is like a field that's part of shared land with the little cul-de-sac that we live in, and it's just beautiful. There are cows in the field over there, and I'm really going to miss it because this hedgerow is kind of a bit like a witch's herbal apothecary for me, so it's going to be kind of sad, but it's so magical. We've had a bit of a heat wave in the past week or so here in England, and today it's sort of humid and muggy, but it's not like really sunny. Obviously got my sunglasses on because it's bright, but it's not like really sunny, and it was raining last night. So the grass is all wet and it's just beautiful. Something like this is so potent and magical, and if you find that you have rainfall, or even if you don't have rainfall, if you have dew in the morning, like this is just so perfect to harvest. You can use a cloth and run it all over the grass and on the hedgerows and on the tree leaves and harvest some of this, and then squeeze it out into a little bottle and keep it, and you can work with it, do some water magic, add it to spiritual baths, anoint yourself with it, add it to Florida waters or sacred room sprays, spiritual room sprays, cleansing sprays, etc. You can use it to sain with, so take a bundle of herbs and then like dip it into the water and cleanse yourself with it, or you can just do what I'm doing. I didn't bring anything to harvest any of this, so I'm literally just sort of soaking my hands and my feet in it, and I'm just going to dab some on my head because it's so gorgeous. And it's just like harnessing the beauty and the potency and the magic of the season and reveling in it really, and enjoying it and basking in that abundance and that joyful energy that the sun brings us at this time of year. And obviously, you know, it's peak, so I think it's just a beautiful way to celebrate. There are so many different ways that you can celebrate, so many incredible creative ways, and if I had more time I would definitely do some crafting as well. That would be something I would love to do, but everything is so hectic at the moment because we are about to move, and yeah, so I'm literally just squeezing in some time to do a little bit of kitchen witchery and herbcraft and green hedge witchery, because it's the thing that sort of resonates closest with me. And then just being out here and putting my feet on this beautiful wet grass and just enjoying basking in this time. It's so beautiful out here and I'm going to miss it. We are going to have some beautiful green space where we move to, but this is just spectacular. And I think that wherever you are, you can honour the spirits of place and connect to the trees and the plants around you, the hedgerows, and just get connected with where you are. And real witchcraft, I think, real magic, it comes from you, it comes from the inside of you, and it's very much based on where you are. And that's what folk magic is. It's all about using what you have. It's not about expensive tools, and those things are beautiful. Those things make you feel like witchy and fizzy and fun and inspired, and that's amazing, but at the same time you can practice so much deep spiritual magic with what's just around you in nature, and it's so beautiful. So I would just encourage you to remember that. If you feel like your practice doesn't look like other people's practice on social media, then just don't stress about it. Just get out, put your bare feet on the grass and enjoy the moment we're in, because it's fleeting. Especially in England, we don't have a lot of sun. So I'm just harnessing this energy and basking in it. I have actually already filmed a little short about these. These are Self-Heal, Prunella vulgaris, and they are one of my favourite little wild flower, I think potentially considered a weed, plant spirits that come out at this time of year, and they are commonly found in sort of gardens and country fields such as this, and they grow low to the ground, and they are called Self-Heal because they do just that, and they're great for digestive tract issues. But magically I love to use it for literally self-healing, self-love. You know, if you're gone through a loss, they're just fantastic for bringing yourself that self-love and that joy, and you can use this in your practice in so many ways. It's a beautiful plant spirit energy to get connected to. Here's a whole beautiful little carpet of them. They are just so beautiful. So just a few weeks ago we actually had some beautiful lambs and sheep and some alpacas actually in this field, and just a few days ago the cows arrived. I'd say actually it was probably a week ago the cows arrived, and they have such a beautiful gentle energy. An aspect of the Morrigan maca also has a animal totem, which is the red heifer, which features in some of the Morrigan's lore. And so having these beautiful creatures nearby, it just feels very resonant and special and magical, and I always feel like there's such beautiful energy coming from these animals. It's very calming being in a place like this and just coming out and spending time in the fields and watching the animals. It can be magic in itself because of the way it can ground you, bring you back to earth and centre, and help you to sort of reframe whatever's going on and connect back to the land where you are. So it's beautiful. I was driving my children to school the other day and there was a calf nursing from its mummy and it was just beautiful. Such gorgeous energy. So I'm walking back now with my bag of elderflower that I've foraged, and at some point today I'm going to start working on the elderflower champagne. Hopefully it will turn out really, really well. Last year's elderflower cordial turned out so beautifully, and I used a little bit of honey, mostly sugar, a little bit of honey for flavour, local honey, and I used some lemon as well and a dash of vanilla extract, and it was just beautiful. Lemon just cut through the sweetness of the vanilla, and the vanilla added this sort of roundness to the elderflower, and it was just gorgeous. So I'm hoping to do something a bit like that for the champagne. It's very exciting. So the elderflower was quite damp when I got home, so what I did was I just dried it out on the countertop for a few hours. So what you want to do when you first get your elderflowers inside is you don't want to wash them. You just want to shake off any bugs, and then you want to start to take off the main stalks from the bunches of elderflower that you've foraged. So a few small stalks are okay, but the big stalks, you just want to discard them so that they don't give you a bitter flavour in your cordial or your champagne or your wine, whatever you're making. Obviously there was heavy rainfall yesterday evening at night, so I'm not 100% sure if that's going to affect the flavour of this. I think I will know when I've done it, but they certainly smell elderflowery enough for me. So now I'm just going to put all of my elderflowers into a little dish so that they're easily available for me to put them into the saucepan that I'm going to use to make the champagne when I get around to that point. You can see actually there's lots and lots of pollen that have come off the elderflower petals onto my work surface there, and they are just beautiful. So for this I'm going to be using about 4 medium bunches of elderflowers and 550 grams of sugar, 1 tablespoon of local honey, the juice of 2 lemons, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with the mother, a litre of freshly boiled water, and 2.5 litres of cold water. So I will leave the ingredients in the description box below that I used. So after you've added the honey to the sugar, you want to pour in the boiling water, and then you want to stir to dissolve the sugar and the honey into the hot water. So now I'm just going to take my time to dissolve the rest of the sugar and stir it all together whilst imbuing this mixture with my intention. So as I stir, I am just thinking about what I want to bring in and to celebrate with this beautiful elderflower wine champagne that I'm making. All of the abundance, the prosperity, the joy, the love, the warmth of the season that I want to take in and imbibe during this time for myself and my whole family and those who we are connected to. You can really take your time with this part, and I also like to blow in my intention as well, which I think will only help this beautiful elderflower champagne to ferment and become more magical than I could imagine. So next up you want to pour in the remainder of the water, which is cold liquid, and there is quite a lot, so this pot was pretty much almost full. So next up I'm squeezing the juice of 2 lemons, and I also need to just make sure I get all of those pips out of the bowl as well. I tend to just like to do this with my hands, so I know there are easier ways to do this, but I like to just be hands-on with it. Next up I'm stirring in 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with the mother, and if you're not sure what that is this dark glunky stuff at the bottom of the apple cider vinegar bottle. It sounds gross, but it is essentially the original fermenting goodness that creates the apple cider vinegar, and there's so many health benefits to it. The lemon and the apple cider vinegar then go straight into the water, followed by the elderflowers, and they are just so beautiful. I really enjoyed this process, and this was a fantastic place to put more intention into this working. I want to make sure that I'm imbuing everything with my intention and speaking out loud what those intentions are, and willing my energy into the mix and blowing my intention as well. So really focusing all of my energy on what I want to manifest and bring in. Okay, so at this point we need to leave this mixture for at least 48 hours and cover it over and come back to it and give it a stir. So I think I'm going to do a little update as and when, and then in 2 weeks time to show you the final product. So if you're interested to see how this beautiful elderflower champagne turns out, then do tune in again soon. So just a quick update. It's taken a few days for the bubbles to start to form on the top, but they are there, and there is a kind of beautiful floral elderflowery bready smell. That's the only way I can describe it, but it is glorious. I did think for a little bit that I might end up with wine instead of champagne or, you know, sparkling wine, because we're not in France, because there were no bubbles, but they are starting to form, as you can see. I know it looks rather a bit like pond water, but it does smell lovely, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this does in the next few weeks. So I hope that you enjoyed the video and found it inspiring or useful in any kind of way. If you did enjoy the video, please click the like button, share it with anyone who you think would be interested to see. And if you'd like to see more from me around tarot, witchcraft, magic and spirituality, then please do think about subscribing. And while you're subscribing, don't forget to hit that little bell notification, because that's how YouTube is going to let you know when I create and upload videos just like this. With all that said, thank you again so much for joining me, and I hope you stay well and safe. Many solstice blessings.